Good day, everybody, welcome to another video. Before I go down the rabbit hole, I got some ideas. Last night the wheels were turning. I was trying to figure out all the options as far as the cooling system goes, pricing out. Definitely another transmission cooler I'm going to add here. This fan is supposed to be rated at 3000 CFM. I don't think it really is. It's a no-name fan, so I still may order a Flexolite that is 3000 CFM. But before I do anything else, I gotta look at the obvious. And somebody could have mentioned it in the last video, but by the time you guys watch this, this would have been filmed long before you guys watch this video. So let's look at the obvious. So there's a couple things right off the bat. The winch. I talked about this before. Look how much real estate in front of the grill the winch takes up. Now I put these grill guards in here to protect the radiator from rocks, because last thing I want is a rock to go through and smash this custom rad, then I'm pooped. However, that could also reduce airflow. I had to put all the evidence and think about it. At highway speeds, the temperature creeped up. When I slowed down, the temperature dropped. That didn't make sense to me. However, at highway speeds, the engine is working harder. At low speeds, it's not. And it cools down. So the fan's doing what it does at low speed. However, at highway speeds, when it's working harder, I'm thinking those vents plus the winch is causing some issues. So I already got one pulled out, and you can see the difference that's going to make. However, if the test works out good, I'm not going to worry about the fan for right now, but I'm still going to remove the grill and build a custom fan shroud down below for half the rad that the fan's down here. Because honestly, this fan isn't doing a whole lot of fuck all. All it's doing is blowing air on the radiator. It's not blowing it through, it's just blowing it on the fins, and it's coming up. That's why you got to have a shroud that's on the back. I knew that when I installed it, but I threw that in there for the time being, just in case if that one failed, I have something, even though it's not really going to do a whole lot. So I'm going to pull all these vents out, and then I'm going to go for another drive, just a short drive, because we need to drain the fuel down, take care of that other issue, and then we'll see how it's going to run. That opened her up. It should make a huge difference, hopefully. Another thing I did was I reversed the transmission lines. There was enough room to make them stretch. Just this top one's a little bit long, but when I add the cooler, that'll be taken care of. But we'll see how the transmission runs, because either way, the transmission should not have been running at 210 degrees without pulling a load or anything. So flip the lines, first thing I'm going to do, and then we're going to see. Alright, so my tachometer came in today. Probably going to install that later on in this video. I didn't want to go to Princess Auto to get some wire loom, so I got this braided stuff instead. Ordered it off Amazon. And then I 3D printed some more parts for my table, but these are a little bit too small when I calculated, so I'm just going to have to do a quick change to them. I think I'll add 5 millimeters to the dimension. And then yesterday's video, when I edited it, the DJI Osmo camera, I really like it, except it had the wind noise reduction on, so that greatly reduced the audio. So I removed the wind reduction audio today, so I'm going to see how much of a difference it makes now. I just don't want it to sound muffled. Well, let's see if this makes a difference. This construction's been going on forever. I'll be glad when it's all over. Beautiful day for a drive, nice clouds, do some time lapse maybe later. So engine temperatures are keeping pretty good, 91 degrees since I removed the vents. The transmission is sitting at 180. I'd like to see that a little bit cooler. I mean, I've been driving for almost 40 kilometers. I think when I left it was at like 163. So my temperatures haven't hit 100 yet. Yesterday they were hitting 100, and I had the second fan going. I haven't even touched the second fan yet. So I was at 96. That was the hottest that I hit. Yesterday it was over 100, creeping up to 190 or 200. So I don't think swap the transmission lines have done anything really. So in the end, coolant good, transmission temperature no difference. So now I got a starting point and I have an idea. Another transmission cooler for sure, but I think I'm gonna go with the tube. That's gonna go down below there in the bottom, or maybe somewhere on the side. And I was gonna use a couple of those 10-inch fans that I bought, but now I'm changing my mind, just because two 10-inch will take up too much space to build the shroud, and I'm probably just gonna make things worse. But what if I use two motorcycle cooling fans that are really small and just run them along the bottom of the radiator, build a little shroud that goes across the bottom only, because that part's all blocked off by the winch, and I think that might work all right. And then for the transmission cooler, for the shell, I'm gonna put another motorcycle fan on that, so when I'm out trail riding I could hit the fan on that cooler and hopefully drop it a few degrees. I'm not saying it's gonna work 100%. This is why we gotta test it, trial and error, and then once it works, revise it and install it permanently. That's my thoughts. We'll see what happens. Domgats, you should be outside and I should be in the garage, but this is where we're at. This is where we're at. Just gotta lean on the couch and just burning the day away, because that's how we both feel. Oh, I know. You're such a cute kitty. You sure are, Mr. Toms. You sure are. So now back on the tailgate table. Gonna drill a hole there, drill a hole there, there, and there. And that's gonna mount onto the back, which then I can get the riv nuts put in there, everything set up, and then I can paint that, mount that back piece, because I still got to get the wood planed, and then bend the wood or the metal for the bottom that's going to hold the custom made wood table. I'm pretty pumped on this. It's going to turn out pretty good, I think. So I got to look out for here is their spot welds, so I don't want to try to drill anywhere in there. So I want to line this up somewhere where I'm not going to be interfering with those. So I got my table with my holes drilled, and now I need to transfer them on to the back here. This is the way I like to do it. I like to see roughly where I need to be, and I will mark one hole, and then I'll get that set up. And then from there I can get the other ones done. That's how I like to work it. Because I find too many times, if you lay out all the holes and then drill them all, especially with nutserts, you could end up with an alignment issue. So I like to do one hole at a time. There is no going back now. Holy shizer. Well, that might be quick becoming the ultimate fail. I jumped the gun, drilled the hole before I realized I don't have the mandrel for 832. The only thing that might save my butt is, before I bought that one, I bought a cheap Princess Auto one. So if it has an aluminum insert in that size, I might be saved. But then again, I gotta find it. My guess that's buried in here somewhere. What are the odds of that working out in my favor? Everything happens for a reason. That's one of them. Now I can't use the steel insert with this tool because it's very lightweight, but I'm hoping the... Ooh, shit. Of course, the aluminum is smaller. That's not what I wanted to hear. But can I make this work? Can I make that work? I don't think it's going to. Fuck. Lucky for me, the 1/4" die is still in there. I just got to be careful how I squeeze this because it is pretty thick. And if you pull too much, it's just going to deform your mandrel. Perfect, one's in. So what I got is my 3D printed spacer right here. Run my spacer on the back side of my panel to accommodate. And now I'm gonna tighten that up. I changed my mind a few times already. I guess the question will be, will this actually all fit up now? After I told you guys how I try to align everything. First, whoops. This is where sometimes things don't always go as planned and you screw up and then you gotta make changes. So originally I wasn't thinking, so I designed it so it's basically a flush with that. And I should really check to make sure that it can still close, because otherwise I may have some issues. And I'm good there, but the issue is now these vents on the side line up where the other ones are going to go. I don't really want to leave it like that. It's kind of wobbly. So here I am. It's looking all right so far. I gotta get my wood planed, bend the tabs for the wood underneath here. Attach my wire or string. I think that's gonna look all right. I think it's gonna look all right once it's done. Again, make sure the door will close so I don't cry afterwards. Yeah, we're good. Now in the 3D printer, I just made some adjustments. I need to make those magnets or magnet mount to come out a little bit further. I think I can take this apart and paint this backside at least. Not sure, maybe Mr. Tomcats wants in. Got a coat of paint on there. Tomcats! Does that mean you want to go in? You want to go in and eat some treats? Is that what you want? Is it? I know. Maybe we should get you a haircut. What do you think? So my friend Kim stopped by tonight because she said she had a gift for me and she made me this shirt. That is the best thing ever. Totally made my night. Best cat dad ever. Just ask Tomcat. What do you think, Tomcat? Is that shirt true or are you just going to walk on it? What are you doing? Hey, are you sniffing it out? Is that what you're doing? What are you doing, buds? You're just cuddled up to me, thrashing your tail because I'm in your space, even though you're cuddled up to me. Is that what this is all about? Is it? You know, Tomcats, I need to go out to the garage soon, but all you want to do is cuddle. You just want to stay cuddled up to your human all the time. I know, you're such a big suck. Well, interesting enough, starting off today with a fail. I use this rust paint. This is actually has a really nice finish, except instructions say that it's dry after 1 hour. So after almost 2 hours, I brought it inside and then I painted the backside. And then when I came out this morning, well, I laid it down on some cloth. Well, kind of ruined it. So you can see kind of an X right there. So I'm just kind of baking it in the sun. Then I'm going to have to wet sand it. But I also just sprayed down the washers and bolts. Just repainted that. Got it sitting in the sun. Gonna have to give it a polish afterwards. Got some pollen and dust in it. Got some wood chopped up for the rocket stove. I'm gonna cook up a steak on it tonight. Fire up this tachometer. Auto gauge by auto meter. I think I might replace the light inside with a blue LED. And before I install it, I want to see. I think that worked out all right. It's got a nice little glow behind there. Yeah, I think so. In the end, I never did figure out if this box was at fault or if it was on my end. Could be both. I don't know. Into the box of LS parts. This is why I hoard stuff. Needed some wire. All the wiring from the Jeep and from the LS computer I just kept in that bin right there. And it's already come in handy. So this is where people with OCD might start cringing. I got my wires set up here, so the ground is going to be connected to the blue and black. Green is the tack, and that's going to be connected to the green and white. And the red and white, which is ignition power and lights, I'm tying those together, and those are going to go to the red and blue, I believe it is. I'm going to use my soldering iron I love so much, the TS100, the best soldering iron, digital. Some people have been trying to convince me for the Milwaukee, but why would I want to change when something like this is proven? I mean, this thing's got digital readout. Press the button. You can see how fast it's starting to heat up. You can adjust your temperature with those switches there. So I thought I'd be all fancy and buy this braided wire loom that is a nightmare to try to get on. Unless there's a simple way that I'm too stupid to figure it out. It's not exactly the most seamless operation. Definitely designed for somebody who has OCD for sure. Knowing my luck, I'll probably go through all this hassle and then I'll find out that it doesn't work. And then the issue in the end will be the tack wire on the LS. Wouldn't that be something, eh? Wouldn't that be something? Fucking burn my hand. Fuck you, cocksucker. I'm sure I set it up to V8. But then again, I was playing around with that setup trying to get that emulator to work, so the light's in a bad spot, but I know I got power. I think it is set up right. So the Android's saying revs about 700. That's where I'm at, right about there too. 700 RPM. It's installed right. Now all my gauges work. just to our remote. RPM and oil pressure. So I forgot a long time ago, I used to have these straps in the front and they're kicking around the garage. I was about to throw them out and I remembered that I used them for the winch cover to help keep the cover down, so to speak. That's how much wire I cut off in the end, so I did a pretty good job of guessing. Once again, before I put it away, TS100 soldering iron. The only soldering iron you'll ever need. I thought that was a bug on the side, but it's not. Just getting the rocket stove fired up. Gonna cook up a nice juicy steak. She'll smoke for a bit and all of a sudden she'll stop smoking and flames will just start shooting up. Cooking a nice juicy steak on my rocket stove. Oh, that looks so good. So good. Alright, time to shut her down. Just got a fire just barely going there. Got my beer. Got a cigar. Gonna kick back and relax. Gotta get up early tomorrow. Got a big project. I don't want to ruin what I'm talking about because I gotta be able to find it first. It's like something that's pretty rare to find nowadays, but I need it for my LS swap. Anyways, motherfucking beer time. As I had a hole in my lip and beer ran down my fucking beard there, but I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Stay tuned.